We'll have to wait for a few people. There's nobody
Oh,
watching.
right, I can look myself, can't I? Let's have a quick look what's going on.
Is that?
No.
No, we're live. No, we're good. We're good. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Floodlight failure. And the referee had to wait for the Premier League to give him permission to carry on. And we got that permission, and we are now looking good.
The drone's gone.
Okay. we started on, I don't know where we cut off, what point we cut off from, folks, but thank you for coming back on and seeing you all pile on there. Wonderful. So, yeah, this is going to be a focus on the Vanarama National League South. We did the North last week. North and South both feeding into National League, one below the normal leagues. Okay, there's a wonderful, wonderful story coming out here. And I'm going to say this, I think it's one of the best football stories I have ever come across. But we'll touch on that in a moment. Anyway, give you some idea of the side. Well, let me run down the sides that are currently playing in the National League South. So we'll start at the bottom, shall we? And it's going upwards as in order of where they are in the league. So bottom of the league, Billericay, then Braintree, Welling, Tunbridge Angels, Chelmsford City, Bath City, Concord Rangers, Slough Town, Hampton and Richmond, Eastbourne Borough, Hemel Hempstead Town, Havant Waterlooville, St Albans, Hungerford Town, Chippenham Town, Dulwich Hamlet, Dulwich Hamlet, Dulwich. I had to get one name wrong, didn't I?
That's my old local team, that is.
Mate, I'm a nightmare. Dartford, Ebbsfleet, Oxford City, Maidstone United, and Dorking Wanderers at the top. And it's the Dorking one that we'll come to shortly. So there we are. That's actually bottom to top of the league. Just looking at that, interestingly, Oxford City, they're only a couple of steps off, and we could have another city having a United City situation. Oxford United, Oxford City, City and United. It would be the only other one other than the one in Manchester. That would be interesting if they made their up. And they're currently sitting in third place in that league. So who knows? A couple of seasons now, we've got another city having the United City battle going on there. But no, so
Billericay, girl.
Sorry,
Billericay. Was that the team who had loads of investment, loads of money going to them? Was it Justin? No.
Was it Billericay or Braintree? Was it Billericay or Braintree? One of them did have a quite a lot of.
The fella on Talk Sport was a manager. Who does the late show. I can't think of his name. Sorry, go on, mate.
But no, I mean, looking at the top there, I mean, your playoff positions, very mixed up playoff. It's very different to the playoffs you see in the league. But you've got Maidstone United sitting there in second place, 3 points behind Dorking at the top. Oxford City then in third. Fourth is Ebbsfleet. Fifth is Dartford. Sixth is Dulwich Hamlet. And then Chipping Town in seventh. Hungerford just below the playoffs. The playoffs are quite weird. So they actually quite a lot of sides getting the playoffs. Maidstone United, an interesting one there in second. We see they got a great following, and we had that video where the player was actually going and leading the singing with the fans. Do you remember that one? We had it the other week.
Yeah, Spanish. He's Spanish guy.
Maidstone. Yeah, Maidstone United, and that was. Yeah, it was a great video, and he was up there, everywhere we go, whatever. And that was pretty good. And the crowds in this league are not bad either. I mean, the difference between South and North, the North have got a lot of ex-league sides. The South have only really got Maidstone United, who have been a league side. And if I'm wrong, someone correct me, but I believe that is the only side that's been in the league. But Dulwich Hamlet, they're up there with an average attendance this year of 2,600. You got Maidstone average about 2,223 average. But the side I want to talk about is the side at the top, the 3 points clear at the moment, and that's Dorking Wanderers. They're averaging around about 1,000, but they had 3,300 at the game, their last home game. But this story is unbelievable. It's a new one on me, and maybe other people do know what it is. So, Dorking Wanderers were formed in 1999. Okay, there's their ground, as you can see. They were formed in 1999. They were formed by a fella and his mates called Mark White, who were Wimbledon supporters. And it was around the time of the whole franchise bullshit going off with Milton Keynes and totally disillusionized. Obviously, Milton Keynes were taking their club away. So they decided they're going to start up their own football team. And it consisted of 14 lads paying £5 subs, playing their games on a £50 a game council pitch. So that was the start of their journey. 14 lads paying that, like we all Sunday League, pretty much. But they started off in the Crawley League, and they've been through a number of leagues over the years. West Sussex League, and they've been in the Isthmian League, and obviously now they've hit National League South. And I'm just going to read this little bit here. Let me just read this. So this was formed in 1999. Wimbledon are sinking towards the Premier League relegation, with rumours of relocation refusing to go away. One weary Don supporter, Mark White, decides to do something else on his Saturdays. So this is Mark speaking. I thought, why not start something with a few mates and have a bit of a laugh. With that, Dorking Wanderers was born. They joined the now defunct Crawley and District League, and were playing games on a big field, a windswept council pitch, at Big Field, a windswept council pitch that was costing them £50 a game. They had no supporters, no grand designs. They were 14 lads paying a £5 each, White says, for Saturday football. There was no lower level. 22 years later, last season, before the league, because if you remember last season, the National League South and North were cut dead. They stopped playing, and the season was over, and they didn't. But they were 2 points clear last season, and they're now 3 points clear at this stage. And Saturday they're away to Billericay, the bottom side. What an amazing story! I mean, the Wimbledon story summit. You know what I mean? The Wimbledon story, the revival of Wimbledon is one thing, but for this is effete, surely. 14 lads renting a pitch.
Was it 11 promotions in 19 years or something? It's something, I don't know if he's managed a world record or something.
My daughter was born in 99, so we're talking 22 years. 22 years. And I mean, I'm not sure how many promotions. I mean, I could read this out, but we'll be here all night. But yeah, an awful lot.
It's an amazing achievement. Amazing.
Absolutely.
So they probably could have gone up last year, like you say, it was cut short, and then you're in the National League playing against big boys. They
could be a league side within 2 seasons. It's just, wow. I think it beats the Wimbledon story, because Wimbledon AFC started by the supporters. They had an automatic, I think, 3,000 fans. They rented they went to ground share with Kingstonian. You know, they had a start, and they didn't drop down as low as these guys were. You know, so when you think about where they are today, they've got a little stadium there. They've got, you know, a little loyal support of 1,000+ supporters. Obviously had a big bumper crowd at their last game, and no doubt that crowd will grow.
I think is he still the manager, girl?
Fantastic.
Is he the manager, Mark? Mark White, did you say his name? Well, I think he's still the manager, isn't he? Or he was the manager for many years.
He owns the club. I mean, look, I'm hoping maybe someone who's connected with the club is also will watch it at some point. Obviously, if you're watching it tomorrow, don't bother asking us questions because it's not live. But if someone is, watching this, or if Mark White himself is, oh my God, we'd love to get you on. to tell this amazing football story, because you know what? Football needs stories like this. It's really brilliant. Anyway, what are your thoughts on it, chaps? Dave, what a story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's like starting up from nothing, literally, isn't it?
Yeah.
And but that ground looked pretty decent, to be fair. A little non-league ground like that.
Yeah.
With a few other teams like FC United of Manchester, but I think that's more on a bigger scale. But yeah, look at that ground, man. That's not so bad at all, is it? That's decent.
When you think where they came from.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There was another team in.
Players literally at start 11 and 3 start, don't it? And I bet them didn't turn up for a match.
Yeah.
So I bet they're probably short a few games. But,
I bet if they were playing now, them 14 lads, they'd be playing, mate. They wouldn't be wimping off like the Premier League players.
No, exactly.
I might pop down and go and watch. I used to go and watch Dulwich Hamlet years ago in that league. Well, they was a lot lower. They're doing, and I know Peter Crouch is doing a big thing on it. But I used to go and watch them. We had.
Tell you what, see Dulwich Hamlet like that. That's almost a month. You could sort of like get a lot of fans from Palace and Millwall down, didn't you?
You did. Yeah, when I used to go, Jim Cannon, the old Palace captain, stalwart from the 80s, he became their manager. So we used to go down there and you could have a beer, change ends, and they had Frank Murphy. They had another guy called Frank Murphy, I think it was Millwall. Yeah, it was Millwall Palace. Loads of Millwall Palace here. And Champion Hill. Champion Hill. That's it.
Channel Hill.
Yeah, they had some bad times in recent years. There, I think some Americans bought them out, and then they was going to sell the ground. And it's a famous old ground, Hamlet. I think they played the FA Cup there many years ago. It was a famous old place. So it's great to see them doing well and getting big crowds. And it's quite an affluent area now, right? East Dulwich around there. It's changed a bit now from the big estate.
Sort of the big council estate there on the side as well, isn't it, Dan?
Still there. Dog Kennel Hill, yeah. There's a nice lake pub and all over the road, but digression. Well, great story, that Gary.
Absolutely brilliant. And Mark or anyone connected with the club, please get in touch with us and come on and let's talk about this story. This is what football needs. This is what football needs. But yeah, wonderful story, wonderful. And that's your National League South next week. I might have a little gander at the Southern League. We'll see, and you'll have to wait until next week to find out. There we are, gentlemen.
Thank you, Gary. I think we've got a bit of breaking news. I don't know if this is true. That is Lampard the new Everton manager? Has that been announced?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Wow. So they've listened to the fans. I mean, we saw the protest yesterday, didn't we? And it's the first time I've ever heard a manager get booed before he joined the club. That Pereira. You never hear of a manager being booed, but now Lampard's got the job. So is that appeasement to the fans?
I thought they were going to give it a Ferguson for at least a little while. I thought Ferguson would have done an all right job there, you know.
Done all right before, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know, man. But there's your breaking news. You've heard it here first, people. Frank Lampard is the Everton manager.
And you can imagine Gerrard's at Villa, isn't he? But
yeah.
It's the old
Roy Hodgson.
Well, Gal, you've got experience now. You've gone from a 71-year-old at Watford to a 74-year-old. You know
what I mean? Ridiculous. We won't talk about that. Ridiculous. Jesus. Look, don't get me wrong. Roy Hodgson might do a number here. He took Ray Lewitt, who used to be our manager, back to the club as well. And, they might do a number. You don't know. Not a silly bloke, is he? But the whole thing at Watford's just fucking fiasco. Ridiculous.
Talking about Hodgson, Gal, we were Palace fans we sort of had enough of him. Can't fault what he done, and we're all loving Patrick Vieira at the minute. But you look at the same time last season we met Hodgson, we was 5 points better off with Hodgson.
Yeah, I'm not saying that
he's a great manager for your level.
Championship level, mate. I mean, look, he could come in and do. I'm not knocking him as an appointment. It's just this
merry-go-round of managers.
Merry-go-round of managers. I just
I don't like the way the club's run.
some people will ignore me or will have a dig at me about that. But at the end of the day, the family came in and saved the club. I ain't knocking them for that. But that was in 2014. This is 2022. It don't fucking matter what happened in 2014 now. It matters what happens now. And a lot of the fans are like, oh, you forget about, you know, what happened then. We might not have had a club and all that. Yeah, I get all that, and we're grateful. But that doesn't give anyone free reign to do what the fuck they want at the club. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of the fans are very disgruntled about the whole structure of the club. That's a fair way to put it. We'll see how it goes. He's only there at the end of the season anyway.
Yeah. We've got about 5 minutes left. Bit of injury time maybe. So I suppose we can touch on a bit of VAR if you want. We had a little Facebook poll on our page the other day, and our question was, do you think VAR work? Yes. Do you think VAR is no good? No. Or yes, but it needs implementing better. And it was overwhelmingly it's not fit for purpose. But actually, not overwhelmingly. It was quite closely followed by yes, it is good, but it needs to be implemented better. Because I know you had a view on it, Simon. It seemed to work fine in the Euros and the World Cup, didn't it, VAR?
Well, yeah, exactly. So is that down to the refs and the standard of refereeing, or
it's got to be? It's got to be. And I'm going to
get it in the lower league. So
but you do in the cups, didn't you?
Well, only if you play a Premier League side.
Yeah, and it's £9,000 a pop, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So,
but I don't know. What's your views on VAR, boys? You any?
Oh, I've said them too often, didn't I? Even when me and Dave were on the other show, I've said my thing on it. I think for me, I know Gareth Williams. Fair play. For me, look, the biggest thing about VAR for me is, and I have experienced some of the really bad elements of VAR back sort of before lockdown. We had a really bad experience at Spurs, and then we had one against Burnley, which was ridiculous. But overall, the thing that I really hate about VAR is I think it's taking far too many. Look, we got football. The biggest euphoria, and we've been talking about the passion and what it does. When that ball hits the back of the net, that's the moment, innit, you live for, you know. And VAR takes that away to a degree, and I've seen it and I've felt it myself. You don't go, oh my God, yeah, we've scored, and you have that rush of emotion that
and the players
else.
Yeah, but surely
wait for the ref.
Yeah, but surely sometimes you get that emotion twice. Then the ball hits the back of the net, and then you get the fire decision, and then you get to celebrate again when it's given.
Yeah, but do you truly? I mean, I've been there, and everyone sort of cheered, but it's half-hearted because they're waiting for the ref to.
Yeah.
You know, I think because you never truly know whether you've scored. I mean, we had a situation, like I said, with Burnley where the guy Burnley player got fouled in our box, in the box, our box. A fair play, did get fouled, right? And the ref didn't pick it, didn't see it. Game carried on. We went up the other end. We had a cleared shot and the keeper saved it, but punted it out. We went to take the corner. Then he brought it all the way back for a penalty. You know, now I'm not saying that's the element of in the goal, but that is some of the bad sides that I've experienced. At Tottenham, 1 minute it was a goal, then it weren't, then it was. You had Tottenham fans going, then Watford fans, then Tottenham fans. It was fucking ridiculous. It really was. Anyone who was at that game will remember it, Tottenham or Watford. But
it needs to be implemented better, doesn't it?
I genuinely think that as it goes on, and the more and more goals get disallowed for being that your cuff of your shirt is offside or something, then fans more and more will not celebrate the immediate goal in the way they do now, because they're just going to be, is it going to be allowed? You know, unless it's a screamer.
Imagine getting nicked for running on the pitch and celebrating a goal when it wasn't a goal 5 minutes later.
I said, as Vicky just said in the chat there, it works in rugby. Rugby creates suspense, but they have the fire decision.
Suspense in football for the people watching it on the telly, not for the people in the ground, is it?
But they have it in rugby. They have it up on a big screen, so you can see what the refs are looking at.
Yeah, but don't you want to celebrate the goal when it hits the net? Surely
Go on, Dave.
Yeah.
And you can hear the ref.
You know what the ref's saying as well in the rugby, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm never going to agree with it, but there you go.
The biggest.
Yeah.
Right, but there's the big myth where Liverpool got the advantage at Palace last week. I won't go on about it, but everyone says,
"Oh, don't go on about it. You haven't shut up."
People say, supports the big teams, but that's a myth, really. Ian Pattinson, the guy on our Facebook page, put it up. And 2019-2020, Brighton were top of the league. They got 8 points extra with Man United 7, Palace got 4. 2021, Burnley were top. They got the most advantage. Everton and Chelsea. And in this season so far, it's West Ham, Spurs, and Arsenal. So there's no Man Cities or. I don't think it does actually.
The big clubs.
It dispels the myth. Maybe more than it used to get. I mean, penalties and stuff at big grounds were given, weren't they, years ago? But yeah,
I mean,
and Anfield.
I agree with online technology in that. I think that's a must, because if you've got a ball that bounces down, no one will. Like I say, I mean, for not wanting to repeat myself, just for me, I found that you had a moment of it's hit the back of the net. You sort of had that, and then you calm yourself down very, very quickly, because you then want to make sure that it is a goal. Now, if that is the new way of enjoying football, then good luck to him. It ain't for me.
Yeah, Gareth Williams just said exactly on the comments exactly what I was about to say. You don't like VAR, and like the topic earlier, another way of taking the emotion out of the game, and it is, isn't it? It's more suited to the armchair fans in Asia or Australia, America, who don't even invest in the team. It's killing the game.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm slightly hypocritical because, I used to criticise refereeing as well, and
yeah,
what. Oh yeah, you can make. Yeah. I'll tell you what, it gives us plenty of talking points, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think we're 2 minutes into extra time, so I think a bit of Fergie time, but I think we're time to wrap it up, lads. But thanks for joining us, Dave. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Great, Dave.
And
nice seeing you again.
Check all Dave's books out on Amazon. Well worth a read. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get involved. The email. This is going out to the Dorking chairman or manager. If you want to give us drop us an email, get involved at properfootball.co.uk. We'd love to have you on. Thanks for everyone taking part. And
Dan, sorry, mate. Dan, just mention, so we mention about the fact the exciting news is that we're now working on an all singing, all dancing website, which will be a benefit to everybody. That's now something that we are working on, and watch this space.
Yep, think it's going to get a lot better, isn't it? It's going to get big and get loads of interesting things, and it's just a platform for everybody, all the proper fans, proper football. It's a platform for everybody. So thanks to everyone, and last thing I'd like to say is just thoughts and prayers out to Isla's family, and looking forward to her celebrating her life tomorrow and the legacy that will carry on forever in all our hearts. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you all next week at 7:30.